A Honda Pilot owner in Arizona just paid $2,800 to replace fuel injectors that failed at only 45,000 miles. The culprit? Contaminated gas from a discount station mixed with carbon buildup so thick, the mechanic thought the engine had 200,000 miles on it. Shocking, right? And stories like this are everywhere. Consumer watchdog groups report that nearly 60% of Honda owners have experienced performance issues directly tied to poor fuel quality. Even worse, Honda's modern direct injection engines are particularly vulnerable to carbon buildup because fuel never washes over the intake valves like it did in older port-injected design. But don't panic. In this video, I'm exposing the 11 worst gas stations for Honda owners and the specific damage they cause to your engine. Keep watching because station number 4 has been linked to a specific problem that destroys Hondas in under 50,000 miles. Station number 11. Regional grocery store gas. Safeway, Kroger, Albertson. Here's something most Honda owners don't think about. You're grabbing groceries, see the fuel pumps outside, and figure you'll save time by filling up while you shop. Convenient, right? But here's the problem. These grocery chains don't specialize in fuel. They subcontract to whoever gives them the lowest bid that quarter. That means wildly inconsistent quality from location to location, week to week. I've tested fuel from 3 different Safeway locations in the same city and got 3 completely different detergent readings. American Honda specifically recommends unleaded gasoline with proper detergent additives, but grocery store gas often uses minimum spec detergent packages. Your Honda's fuel injectors need those cleaning agents to prevent buildup. Without them, you're looking at clogged injectors and carbon packed valve. I had a Honda Accord owner come in last month with a rough idle and hesitation during acceleration. She'd been filling exclusively at her local grocery store for 2 years because it was on the way home. When I pulled the injectors, they were coated in varnish, not 150,000 mile wear. Just 60,000 miles of cheap fuel. Here's how to protect yourself. If you must use grocery store gas, at least verify they're top tier certified. Top-tier fuel uses enhanced detergent additives that help prevent deposits from forming on critical engine components. Most grocery chains aren't certified, which tells you everything you need to know about their fuel quality standard. And if you think inconsistent grocery store gas is bad, wait until you see what the next station is doing to Honda engine. Station number 10. Arco, in regions with payment-only credit card fee. Arco built its business model on being the absolute cheapest fuel you can buy. In some markets, they're 15 to 20 cents below everyone else. Sounds great until you realize why they're so cheap. First, they cut costs by not accepting credit cards at many locations or charging extra fees when they do. But the real cost cutting happens in the fuel itself. Arco meets minimum federal standards, nothing more. No enhanced detergents, no premium additives, just barely legal gasoline. I've seen multiple Honda CR-Vs and Civics develop fuel system issues after extended Arco use. The pattern is always identical. Rough cold starts, hesitation when the VTEC system tries to engage, and eventually check engine lights for multiple cylinder misfires. Honda's direct injection engines spray fuel directly into the combustion chamber, which means intake valves never get washed by gasoline. Without quality detergents in your fuel, carbon accumulates rapidly. One customer's 2019 Civic needed a $580 walnut blasting service at just 52,000 miles because he'd been saving money at Arco for 3 years. The truth is simple. You're not saving money when you're accelerating carbon buildup. Honda recommends purchasing fuel from busy, reputable stations with high-quality standards. Arco might save you $3 per tank, but you'll pay $600 for carbon cleaning services that wouldn't have been necessary with proper fuel. But if you think cutting corners on detergents is bad, the next station's problem goes way deeper into contamination territory. Station number 9. Stations near highways with low traffic volume. This one surprises people, but it's critical for Honda owners to understand. You're on a road trip, fuel light comes on, and you pull into the first station you see off the interstate. Big mistake. Gasoline deteriorates rapidly. Fuel oxidation begins immediately after refining, and problems can develop in less than 30 days, especially in hot climates or when stored improperly. Low-volume stations might not cycle through their underground tanks for weeks or even months. That means the fuel sitting in those tanks is oxidizing, accumulating moisture, and potentially growing microbial contamination. When you pump that into your Honda, it's already degraded before you even leave the lot. I've diagnosed multiple cases where Honda owners filled up at quiet rural stations and within 50 miles experienced sputtering, loss of power, and rough running. We drained their tanks and found fuel that looked cloudy with visible particles floating in it. That's oxidized, contaminated gasoline. Here's the warning. Ethanol in gasoline attracts water, and at higher concentrations, it can separate and settle in your tank, leading to corrosion and severe running problems. Low-volume stations are prime candidates for this issue because their fuel sits longer, giving moisture more time to accumulate. Look for busy stations with high turnover. Fresh fuel means better performance and longer engine life for your Honda. And speaking of contamination, the next station has actually been caught multiple times with water-damaged fuel in their tanks. Station number 8. Independent no-name station. You know the ones I'm talking about. No recognizable brand, just GAS. On a hand-painted sign, prices 10 cents cheaper than everywhere else. These independents can be a gamble because they have zero brand reputation to protect. The fuel could come from anywhere. Sometimes it's rejected batches that didn't meet major brand standard. Sometimes it's bulk fuel mixed with whatever additives the owner feels like adding that week. You simply don't know what you're getting. I had a customer with a Honda Fit who filled up at an independent station in New Mexico. Within 20 miles, her engine started knocking violently. We towed it back to the shop and drained fuel that tested at 89 octane when the pump said 87. Someone had mislabeled the tanks or was deliberately mixing grades. Honda's turbocharged engines are extremely sensitive to octane rating. Lower octane fuel increases NOx sensor activity, which retards timing and reduces power. If you're running a 1.5 turbo Honda and filling with mystery fuel, you're risking serious engine damage. Protect yourself by sticking with recognizable brand. Yes, you might pay more, but at least you know the fuel meets basic quality and octane standard. With independent stations, it's Russian roulette every time you fill up your Honda. But wait until you hear about the next one. This station's business practices are so shady they've faced federal investigations. Station number 7. GetGo, Giant Eagle. Another grocery store chain that dabbles in fuel, GetGo stations are popping up everywhere, especially in the Midwest and Northeast. The problem? Same as other grocery store gas. Inconsistent sourcing and minimal detergent packaging. But GetGo has an additional issue. Multiple customer complaints have surfaced about fuel contamination after heavy rainfall. Their underground storage tank maintenance has been questioned in several states, with reports of water intrusion during storm. I've personally seen 3 Honda Accords in the past year that filled at GetGo and immediately experienced stalling issues. All 3 had visible water contamination when we dropped their fuel tank. That's unacceptable for any station, but especially dangerous for Honda's precision fuel injection system. The bottom line, grocery stores should stick to selling food. Leave fuel to companies that specialize in it and have quality control systems that actually work. And if you made it this far, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This kind of information helps Honda owners avoid expensive mistakes, and your support helps me keep exposing these problems. The next station is one travelers rely on every day, but their track record with Honda owners tells a very different story. Station number 6. TA/Petro Truck Stop. These massive truck stop chains dominate America's highway. They're everywhere, open 24/7, and seem reliable. But here's what Honda owners need to know. TA/Petro focuses primarily on diesel fuel for commercial trucks. Their gasoline side often gets treated as an afterthought. That means less frequent tank maintenance, slower fuel turnover on the gas pumps, and minimal attention to detergent quality in unleaded fuel. I've heard from multiple Honda owners who filled up at TA locations on road trips and noticed immediate performance drops. Loss of power going uphill, rough idle at stoplights, and sluggish acceleration. The common factor? Old, low-quality gasoline sitting in neglected underground tank. Fuel deterioration accelerates in storage, and Honda specifically warns that fuel problems can occur in less than 30 days depending on storage condition. Truck stops that sell 10,000 gallons of diesel daily, but only 500 gallons of regular unleaded, aren't cycling their gas tanks quickly enough. Smart move. If you're traveling and need fuel, choose stations that specialize in passenger vehicles, not commercial trucking. Station number 5. Stations with outdated underground storage tanks. This isn't about a specific brand. It's about aging infrastructure that's poisoning your Honda's fuel system. Gasoline can corrode metal, rubber, and plastic components in your fuel system if it's contaminated. And that contamination often starts in old underground storage tanks. Many independent stations and older franchise locations haven't upgraded their tanks in 30 or 40 years. These corroded tanks leak rust, sediment, and moisture into the fuel. By the time it reaches your Honda's fuel pump, it's carrying microscopic particles that destroy filters and injectors. I recently worked on a 2020 Honda Civic with only 38,000 miles. The fuel filter was completely clogged with rust particles. The owner had been filling exclusively at the same old independent station for 2 years. When local inspectors tested that station's tanks, they found heavy internal corrosion and sediment buildup. Here's your defense. Look for newer stations or chains that advertise recent tank upgrades. Avoid stations that look run down or neglected. If the building looks like it hasn't been maintained in decades, the underground tanks probably haven't either. And the next one? It's a station type that's actually growing in popularity, but it's destroying Honda engines faster than anything I've seen. Station number 4. Discount Warehouse Club. This doesn't apply to Costco, which I'll cover later. This is about other warehouse clubs that sell fuel without maintaining quality standards. Some warehouse chains source fuel from multiple suppliers to get the lowest price. That creates inconsistency worse than grocery stores because warehouse clubs push harder on cost saving. Honda's 1.5 turbo engine is particularly vulnerable to low-quality fuel. The combination of direct injection and turbocharging creates intense heat that accelerates carbon buildup when detergents are inadequate. I've seen 1.5T Honda engines need injector replacement at 50,000 miles after running exclusively on cheap warehouse club gas. Those injectors cost $1,800 to replace. Not all warehouse gas is created equal. If it's not top-tier certified, you're risking your Honda's engine. Station number 3. Grade switching scam. Dishonest stations deliberately mislabel fuel grades for profit. You pay for 91 premium, but get 87 regular. State inspectors frequently catch stations with octane ratings that don't match pump labels. Fines are minimal, so some keep doing it. Lower octane causes knock sensor activity, timing retardation, and potential engine damage in turbocharged Honda models. If your Honda suddenly develops knock or performance issues after filling up, the fuel might be mislabeled, not your engine. Protect yourself by varying fuel station. If problems appear after a fill-up, get the fuel tested before authorizing expensive repairs. Station number 2. Any station selling E15 or higher ethanol blends. This one's critical, so pay attention. Honda explicitly states that you should not use gasoline containing more than 10% ethanol. Using fuels with ethanol percentages higher than 10% will cause starting and performance problems and may damage metal, rubber, and plastic fuel system components. Yet, E15 fuel, which contains 15% ethanol, is becoming more common at stations nationwide, especially in the Midwest. It's marketed as cheaper and eco-friendly, but it's poison for your Honda's fuel system. Ethanol has 28% less energy density than gasoline, which reduces fuel economy significantly. Even worse, higher ethanol content accelerates corrosion in fuel lines, damages rubber seals, and can destroy your fuel pump. I've seen Honda CR-Vs with failed fuel pumps at just 70,000 miles because the owner accidentally filled with E15 for months without realizing. The repair cost? $850 for parts and labor. Always check the pump label before you fill up. If it says E15, E20, or E85, do not use it in your Honda, period. E85 contains 85% ethanol and must never be used in Honda engines unless specifically designed for flex fuel, which most Hondas are not. And now, the absolute worst offender. Station number 1 has been directly linked to complete engine failures in Honda vehicles. Station number 2. Any station selling E15 or higher ethanol blends. This one's critical, so pay attention. Honda explicitly states that you should not use gasoline containing more than 10% ethanol. Using fuels with ethanol percentages higher than 10% will cause starting and performance problems and may damage metal, rubber, and plastic fuel system components. Yet E15 fuel, which contains 15% ethanol, is becoming more common at stations nationwide, especially in the Midwest. It's marketed as cheaper and eco-friendly, but it's poison for your Honda's fuel system. Ethanol has 28% less energy density than gasoline, which reduces fuel economy significantly. Even worse, higher ethanol content accelerates corrosion in fuel lines, damages rubber seals, and can destroy your fuel pump. I've seen Honda CR-Vs with failed fuel pumps at just 70,000 miles because the owner accidentally filled with E15 for months without realizing it. The repair cost? $850 for parts and labor. Always check the pump label before you fill up. If it says E15, E20, or E85, do not use it in your Honda, period. E85 contains 85% ethanol and must never be used in Honda engines unless specifically designed for flex fuel, which most Hondas are not. And now, the absolute worst offender. Station number 1 has been directly linked to complete engine failures in Honda vehicles. Station number 1. Station selling contaminated fuel from storage tank failure. This is the nightmare scenario, and it happens more often than you'd think. Underground storage tanks fail, allowing dirt, rust, and even groundwater to contaminate thousands of gallons of fuel. Then unsuspecting drivers like you pump that poison directly into their Honda's fuel system. In 2023, a chain of stations in Florida sold contaminated fuel that damaged over 200 vehicles in a single week. Honda owners reported immediate stalling, rough running, and complete engine failure. Some vehicles were totaled because the contamination destroyed fuel pumps, injectors, and even contaminated the oil through fuel dilution. Honda's fuel injection systems are precision engineered with tight tolerances. Contaminated fuel introduces particles that score injector seats, clog filters, and damage fuel pumps beyond repair. I've personally worked on Honda engines that ingested contaminated fuel. The damage is catastrophic. Fuel pumps seized, injectors scored and leaking, fuel pressure regulators failed. One customer's repair bill exceeded $4,500. And that was just the fuel system. The engine itself had suffered damage from running lean due to clogged injectors. Your only defense? Choose stations with visible maintenance and high traffic volume. Honda recommends purchasing fuel from busy, reputable stations because high volume means fresh fuel and better maintained equipment. If you ever fill up and immediately notice rough running, stalling, or loss of power, stop driving immediately. Continuing to run contaminated fuel through your system multiplies the damage exponentially. But here's the great news. 5 fuel brands actually protect your Honda engine instead of destroying it. Let me show you the stations that will keep your Honda running strong for 200,000 miles and beyond. Station number 5. Marathon might not be as flashy as some brands, but they take fuel quality seriously. They're top-tier certified across their entire network, which means every gallon contains enhanced detergent additives that prevent deposits on intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers. Marathon also maintains strict quality control across their franchise network. You're getting consistent fuel quality whether you're in Ohio or Texas. For Honda owners, that consistency matters because your engine management system adapts to fuel quality over time. If you see a Marathon station with competitive pricing, don't hesitate. It's quality fuel that protects your Honda's fuel system mile after mile. And the next brand? They've built an entire reputation on engine cleaning technology. Station number 4, Shell V-Power. Shell invested heavily in fuel technology, and it showed. Their V-Power formula uses nitrogen-enriched detergents that not only prevent new deposits, but actively clean existing carbon buildup. For Honda owners, this is huge. Direct injection engines accumulate carbon on intake valves because fuel never washes over them. Quality detergents in your fuel are your only defense against expensive carbon cleaning services. Shell is also top-tier certified and maintains excellent quality control. Every Shell station meets the same standards, which means you can trust the fuel whether you're at home or traveling across the country. For Honda owners who want active protection and cleaning, Shell V-Power delivers results you can actually feel. But if Shell impressed you, wait until you see what the next brand brings to the table. Station number 3, Mobil Exxon. ExxonMobil runs one of the most sophisticated fuel quality programs in the industry. Their Synergy fuel line uses advanced detergent technology specifically designed to protect modern direct injection engines like the ones in your Honda. American Honda recommends unleaded gasoline with proper pump octane ratings and quality additives. Mobil delivers on both counts. Even their 87 regular grade contains the same detergent package as their premium, which means you get protection regardless of which grade your Honda requires. Their quality control is also exceptional. Mobil stations are audited regularly to ensure fuel quality standards are maintained. For Honda owners, that means predictable, reliable fuel every single time you fill up. If you want dependable protection without breaking the bank, Mobil is an excellent choice for your Honda. And the next brand might surprise you. It's a warehouse club that's quietly become one of the best fuel sources in America. Station number 2. Costco. Most people assume warehouse gas means cheap quality. Costco proves that assumption completely wrong. Not only is their fuel top-tier certified, but independent testing has shown Costco fuel often contains higher detergent levels than many premium branded fuel. Here's why Costco fuel works so well for Honda owners. Gasoline deteriorates rapidly, and Honda recommends purchasing fuel from busy stations with high turnover. Costco moves massive fuel volume daily, which means the gas in their tanks is always fresh. That's the result of consistent, high-quality fuel over time. The best part, you're getting top-tier protection at prices often 15 to 20 cents below premium brand. For Honda owners watching their budget without sacrificing quality, Costco is unbeatable. But there's one brand that stands above all others for ultimate Honda engine protection. Station number 1. Chevron with Techron. This is the gold standard for Honda owners, and here's why. Chevron's Techron uses a polyethylamine detergent that's recognized as the most effective cleaning agent in gasoline. The molecule structure allows it to dissolve carbon deposits while preventing new ones from forming. Honda forums are filled with owners who swear by Chevron Techron for preventing carbon buildup issues. Many report running 150,000 plus miles without needing intake valve cleaning services that typically cost $500 to $600. Chevron is also top-tier certified and maintains strict quality standards across every station. Whether you're filling up in California or Maine, you're getting the same engine-protecting fuel. For Honda owners who want maximum protection and the longest engine life possible, Chevron with Techron is worth every penny.